Hey Matthew, are you still reading Huck Finn?
Yep.
So what chapter are you on?
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3. You're supposed to be on like chapter 30.
I know.
So when are we gonna start on that video project for English?
Well, what's it about? Like, what's our group topic again?
I think it's about nature.
I mean, basically the whole book's about Huck's development as a character and sort of finding personal growth through his entire journey. And it's that classic, like, nature versus society overarching theme that, I think Twain just sort of uses nature as a vessel that sort of to develop Huck that presents those opportunities to him. You know what I'm talking about?
And we saw in chapter 16 with like the slaveholders, and we saw like how nature has given all these opportunities for Huck and Jim to travel and like on the river and stuff and experience all these situations. In that chapter we saw Huck, he was like morally conflicted and he felt obligated to turn Jim in even though he was his friend. And we saw how like these natural situations, they helped shape Huck throughout the novel.
Yeah, that's actually a really good example because I feel like if Huck were to stay in society and not have taken off, like at the time in the US, like, the societal values would be that it's morally wrong to help out a runaway slave. But now that Huck has been presented with the opportunity and had to make the decision, and he decided that he would help Jim, I think that was because going down the Mississippi River, going through all that with Jim.
Exactly.
So anyway, I got this game called Raid Shadow Legends.
Hey!
What are you guys doing?
Well, we're talking about Huck and how he escapes into nature, and it allows him to develop all these values, as opposed to having to accept these values imposed by society.
Yo, is this for the Huck Finn video?
Yeah.
We should probably get that started. We should probably also figure out what else we know about nature. So far, you said that the journey provided a chance for Huck to develop his own values, right?
Not to mention, nature also sets the tone for many scenes in the novel. For example, when Huck first arrives at the Phelps' farm in chapter 32, he expresses that the hot, muggy air and the insects make him feel mournful, like there are dead spirits trying to whisper. Huck's description of the scene makes the reader feel uncomfortable and anxious, and it just adds to the tension of Huck's first meeting with the Phelps.
The same type of deal also appears near the beginning of the novel as well. For instance, in chapter 7 when Huck was on Jackson Island, nature sets a very tranquil tone. Huck said that it was really peaceful and that the moon was shining down on everything. And so this kind of gave him a sense of security and like being isolated from society and like being protected from his father.
Dude, how do you remember that?
I do not read book.
Yeah, to add on to what you guys were saying earlier about nature providing opportunities. The Mississippi River allows both Huck and Jim to be free from their worries back home. Huck can escape Pap's beatings, and Jim can escape servitude and being sold down the river. Especially with Huck, the trip brought him wisdom about racial bigotry and ideals about freedom and servitude back home.
Do you think Miss Stewart would let us talk about nature in a different way? Like, instead of trees and stuff, say it's not in the nature of Huck to be prejudiced against Jim, meaning nature and like the inherent or natural beliefs of someone.
I'd go as far as to say that Twain is arguing against racism. He's saying that prejudice is in the nature of no one, and that when Huck defies societal expectations, he realizes that him and Jim are equal people despite their skin color.
A lot of themes and messages can be told in the novel through nature, and the book feels more connected when you think about it this way.
I don't know, I kind of feel like the ending was lacking.
What? I thought you didn't read the book.
No, I read the ending and I don't get it. It's basically saying everything that happened was for nothing. Because Jim was set free from Miss Watsonville and she had been dead for a while and Tom didn't even tell them. And Tom did some tomfoolery and kind of tortured Jim in one way or the other. Even my friend here, T.S. Eliot, is quite confused as well. And I quote, "Readers sometimes deplore the fact that the story descends to the level of Tom Sawyer from the moment that Tom himself reappears. Such readers protest that the escapades invented by Tom in the attempted rescue of Jim are only a tedious development of themes with which we were already too familiar. Even while admitting that the escapades themselves are very amusing and some of the incidental observations memorable, but it is right that the mood of the end of the book should bring us back to the beginning. Or, if this was not the right ending for the book, what ending should have been right?" End quote.
The book is about the journey, not the ending. Huck develops his values a lot throughout the novel, and the ending fits with the characters anyway. Criticism of Tom Sawyer's roundabout way of rescuing Jim is in line with his ambitions to be extra and make adventure something more interesting. Of course, he would have made the adventure about helping out a runaway slave escape. Explaining that Jim was freed in Jim Watson's will is something that would be too boring for him.
Don't forget what you guys were saying about Jim and Huck. Twain is criticizing the Phelps' acceptance of society's values over their own. They pray with Jim and treat him more human than many other people, but also are resigned to sending him into the bonds of slavery. Huck's rejection of this societal cruelty against blacks is one development very different for the time.
Here, I actually have some more literary criticism I brought. Let me just find it. I see. Alright, well, from Laureate Lane's analysis of Huck Finn in the Mark Twain section of the Gales book, she actually states, starting with the typically American prejudices and easy generalizations about Jim, he is gradually shocked into an increasingly complex awareness of Jim as a human being. Pretty different thinking for the times, and all made possible by Huck having the time to meditate along the Mississippi River out in nature.
You know, I'll have to agree on Laureate Lane's analysis too. I also want to add to the point that Jim and nature have quite a strong connection too. Without the practicality of nature, Jim would probably be dead. It all ties back to the Mississippi River and how Jim works together with Huck to eventually free themselves from the evil chains of society.
Just read the title of the book.
Yeah, this has all been pretty good. We probably should have written some of it down though. When are we gonna film?
Probably on Saturday. Matthew's still on the beginning and all Anthony did was spark note the ending.
The motherland calls.
Well, since I'm editing, I'd say Saturday, so that I have a full week to fix or edit anything. Because I'd hate for us to have to film this over 2 separate Saturdays just because we didn't write a full script.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's just hope my camera battery doesn't die and I just hope it doesn't rain.